50 interesting facts about prehistoric people. Our history goes back to ancient times, when it didn't exist yet, and people have just learned to survive in this harsh world. Dangers. The period before the appearance of the first written sources, it's called prehistory or prehistory. At this time, our distant ancestors took huge evolutionary steps. They learned how to use fire, invent tools, conquer new territories, and even art. Below are 50 interesting facts about prehistoric times. One of the most ancient representatives of our evolutionary branch, Australopithecus, are considered. For example, Australopithecus afarensis. They, too, 3,400,000 years ago, they were already walking on two legs. The famous Australopithecus skeleton was nicknamed Lucy. He was 3 million years old, found in Ethiopia in 1970. In her fourth year, Lucy was about 1 meter tall. The Homo family appeared more than 2,000 years ago. Homo habilis is considered one of the first species of humans. He has already used the simplest stone tools. Homo erectus, who lived a year and a half ago, a human who walks upright, was the first type, who left Africa and spread across Eurasia. It was him who came up with the active use of fire. Increase in the brain of Homo and other early humans. It is closely related to the development of stone tools. The more complex the brain became, moreover, the tools became more diverse. Some of the most ancient stone tools, Alduvaiski culture, date back to the age of more than 31 million years. They are found in East Africa, including in the Ngorongoro crater in Tanzania. It is believed that the ancestors of the Hopi adapted tribe to long-distance running, the tactic of exhausting hunting. What was it that they were pursuing? Prey over long distances, switching to a more varied meat diet. Plant-based food, insects led to the accelerated development of the brain and allowed early humans to settle in different regions of the earth. Already in the early Homo, a rudimentary form was beginning to take shape. The structure of a joint hunt, sharing food and mutual help. We increased the survival chances of the Homo group. Erectus overcame the boundaries, reached Africa and the Far East, Southeast Asia, and maybe even. This happened a long time ago, before the appearance of modern man, Homo. The Neanderthal inhabited Europe and part of it. About 401,000 years ago, they had a brain. Let's compare it with the mindset of modern people, and a strong physique, adapted to a cold room. They made advanced stone tools. We knew how to sing with passion. They may have made simple clothes and jewelry. Evidence of that has been found, that Neanderthals buried their dead, sometimes sprinkling the body with ochre or flowers. This hints at rituals and possibly beliefs. Allocated on the basis of fragment of a finger bone, found in the Denisova cave in Altai. We lived around the same time. What? Even the Neanderthals about 200,000 years ago. Many modern people, especially from Asia and Oceania, the percentage of Denisovan DNA is being detected. This says about the interbreeding of Denisovans with the ancestors of modern humans. Modern, not African. They carry 1–2% Neanderthal DNA. So, Homo also interbred with Neanderthals. Upon leaving Africa, there are very few finds. Some bone and stone tools are known. What are Denisovans? We didn't lag behind the Neanderthals in terms of development level. Not long ago, Neanderthals were depicted as crude and primitive. But modern data show that that they knew how to take care of things. We talked about the sick and created decorations. We had the beginnings of abstract thinking. 40,000 years ago, Neanderthals are disappearing from the paleontological record. It is considered what the main reasons could be climatic ones, changes in competition with modern type people, and a low population. In Asia, for thousands of years, Homo sapiens, Neanderthals and Denisovans lived in the same territory. We met and exchanged not only genes, but also possible cultural achievements. The earliest known fossils of Homo sapiens are dated approximately 300,000 years. For a long time, the age of the species is about 200,000 years. New findings are pushing back this boundary. What is the mass migration of Homo sapiens from Africa? It started about 70,000 years ago. When did people start settling in the Middle East, then Europe, Asia, Australia? People reached Australia approximately 50,000 years ago. Moreover, they had to overcome the sea straits. We built primitive boats or rafts. Impressive achievement. The ancestors of the indigenous Americans arrived on the continent, according to a widespread hypothesis. There was land between Siberia and Alaska about 20,000 years ago, when the sea level was low. Settling new lands. People encountered gigantic animals, mammoths, giant sloths, teeth-bearing cats. Some researchers believe that hunting could have contributed to the extinction of megafauna. In Europe, people have survived ice ages. Archaeologists find settlements where mammoth bones have been found and used not only as food, but also for the construction of housing. The beginning of the Upper Paleolithic. It is considered a key stage of the dawn of creativity. Cave paintings are appearing. Figurines made of bone, stone, complex tools. Female statuettes are being found all over Europe. Created 20,000 years ago. The most famous examples: Venus of Willendorf, Venus of Brno, Venus from Holyfield. Cave painting. Altmira's Caress. Surprised by the realism and the ability to use the natural terrain. I was looking for these ancient galleries drawings. 20. The oldest known flutes made from bones are 30,000 years old. And the tusk of a mammoth found in the caves of Germany. Their age is estimated to be 40,000 years old. This confirms the development of abstract thinking and the controlled use of fire in culture. Cooking. Protection from predators. It also relates to Homo erectus more than 1 million years ago. For the sake of Homo, it's already been a common practice for sapiens. What is the constant wearing of skins and primitive clothing? It started at least 100,000 years ago to survive in cold regions. Needles appeared in the late Paleolithic era. The oldest bracelets and necklaces made from shells and fangs. Bones are found at the age of 70,000 years. For example, the Blombos Cave in South Africa. This indicates symbolic communication and social statuses. People of the Upper Paleolithic built huts from wood, bones and skins of animals. One of the most impressive finds is the Meson site, where they found large houses made of mammoth bones, about 15,000 years old. Homo sapiens also buried their dead, often decorating graves with red ochre, investing in tools and decorations. This is a testimony of the ritual and belief in the afterlife. Historically, people were nomads. Men engaged in collective hunting. Women and children were collecting berries from the food plants, mushrooms of insect larvae. Everything changed with the seasons. Archaeologists distinguish numerous cultures, characterized by the peculiarities of stone processing, Acheulean and Aurignacian workshop, Grevetian and others. Each one reflects the technological breakthroughs of its time. Besides hunting, spears and bows could be used in intergroup skirmishes. Earlier evidence of human violence. Traces of injuries on the bones. They have been different since the times of Homo erectus and beyond. Collecting and activity required cooperation. Distribution of roles in the group. What strengthened? Established connections and built hierarchies or cooperative practices. For example, joint protection against predators. There is no exact date for Lena's emergence of separate speech, but most scientists believe that developed speech existed in Homo sapiens already tens of thousands of years ago. Language has given a huge boost to the development of culture. What is the first domestic animal? What happened with the wolves about 40,000 years ago? The dog also became an assistant in hunting. An alarm against predators. Bone hooks for fishing date back at least to 20th, 5th, 1,000 years ago. Fishing has become an additional activity, a stable source of protein. Back in the Upper Paleolithic era, 23,000 years ago, people have started actively collecting wild grains, grind grain into flour. And we found this at the parking lot in Israel. Approximately 12,000 years ago, with the end of the last ice age, people in the Fertile Crescent region, in the Middle East, we started to cultivate wild plants. It became the precursor of agriculture. The age of this cult. There are about 12,000 years in Turkey. This is a unique building. From stone pillars with carved images of animals. Hunter-gatherers. Long before the official start. Not because of a stable food source. Own cultivation of cereals and livestock farming. People could settle in the first place, erect permanent, and form large communities. This started about 10,000 years ago. This allowed us to get not only meat, but also wool and skin, increasing the chances of survival. The first proto-urban centers appeared in the Neolithic period. For example, Jerusalem, the western bank of the Jordan River, one of the oldest settlements with a defensive wall, dated to the 9th millennium BC. And the invention of ceramic dishes, approximately 10,000 years ago. In different regions, it made it easier to store water and grain. And also, cooking. This prehistoric period to the historical one, usually associated with the emergence of writing systems. The oldest written cultures were in Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt. So, I started recording the story. Historical people have passed by. Incredible. The journey from the first Australopithecus in the African savannas to global development, creating art, the first rituals and the beginnings of agriculture. Every archaeological find provides. We are a fragment of a gigantic mosaic which is becoming part of our species' history. These 50 facts only lift the veil on how human civilization was born. 1 million years of evolution and 1,000 years of cultural experiments leading to that world in which we are living now. Thank you for watching. Give a thumbs up and leave comments. Don't forget to subscribe right now. And also, click the bell so as not to miss any new interesting videos from the channel. Real Unreal.